So we're recording now and let the class start. Okay. So in last class, what we did was we went on talking about how you can make KWGT widgets, and obviously in one class we cannot complete the whole topic or subject. So we need few classes for that. And so yeah, so let me give you a just brief overview of what happened in the last class if anyone has missed. Okay. Okay, so last class we went over few topics. Okay, number one was a brief introduction to the KWGT app itself. Okay, this was the number one part. Number two was uh, what uh, what elements we have on KWGT. Okay, so there are certain multiple elements such as text, images, and so shapes we can play with that we have on KWGT, and we talked about a very a brief introduction grossly on those topics, and today we'll be going in much more detail about them. Okay, we also we also talked about the texts, shapes and all. Okay, so in today's class, okay, this was our topic of our last class, and the topic for today's class will be number one is globals, number two text in depth as much as we can cover it today. Number three will be overlap and stack groups. Mainly we'll go over these two, overlap and stack groups, before we jump into the text, and we'll make today widget, and if time permits we'll make a, what do we call it, uh, a music widget. Okay, if time permits. Okay, so these are the topics for today's class. Okay, so we have started recording. We're okay. Now let me turn on my phone screen. Okay, is my phone screen visible to every one of you?
Yes.
Okay, okay. You missed the previous class. I missed the previous class. Where can I find the recording? Actually, I did record the previous class, but there was some audio issues in that recording, so I couldn't upload the video today. And if you still want to watch the video regarding the last class, I posted the link on in the group, from where you can find the recordings of my earlier sessions, which I recorded for Abhijit personally. So it's pretty much the same in those videos also. Okay, you can go through them, but I will be covering them once again, very briefly. Okay, so no need to worry. Okay, so in last class what we did was this widget. So you can show the month which it is, you show the current day today is, okay, and so on. We talked about this overlap group a bit. So what is a overlap group? Group is basically you have multiple elements inside. It's a group, so it can hold multiple elements inside, right? So an overlap group can hold multiple elements inside. Same goes with stack group. Okay, never mind. He always calls me that. Okay, so any group will hold multiple elements inside. Okay, now the thing with overlap group is that the objects will be stacked on top of one another. Okay, okay. I think I explained the this part in last class. Okay. Let me just go through it once again. I'm using XD because it will be easy for me to make you understand. So I'm creating a shape. I'm creating a shape. Let's give it some color. So I have a red square, and suppose I want something on top of it. Okay, suppose a yellow square. So if I place it on top, you can see the yellow square is clearly visible on top of the red square. So in this layer, what is currently on top? The yellow, sorry, circle. The yellow circle is currently on top and the red square is at the bottom. But uh, if I change the items arrangements, if I bring the rectangle to top, now see the ellipse is now not visible, but it's still there. If I move the square a little bit to the left, you can see still the circle. So this is kind of so this is basically overlapping. Okay, whatever. But in the KWGT app, don't confuse with this kind of layering. Okay, because here whatever is on top will stay at the you will see at the top, but inside the KWGT items panel, whatever is at the bottom, that means here the rectangle, it will show on top. Okay, that is not the case in this kind of layout. Okay. Okay, now another thing is that there is called stack groups. Stack groups are basically kind of series. So if I have, suppose I have four rectangles like this. So I have four rectangles. I can either arrange them like in a horizontal fashion, giving some gap in between them. Okay, so this is basically a stack group. So the items are arranged in a horizontal fashion, in a stack, in a linear way. Also, if I make it vertically like this is also another stack group. Okay, but the items are arranged in a vertical fashion. The items are not overlapping each other. You have to understand that the items are not overlapping each other. Now suppose this is a stack group, and what is this is this is a no this is a overlap group. Now any group, may it be overlap group, may it be stack group, can contain inside other groups also. So an overlap group can have stack groups inside also, and other overlaps groups also. Okay, so basically this goes like this. Okay, so if I open up this, what do you call it, where is the word, Microsoft Word, cannot find it, sorry, my bad. Okay. mm, where is the text box? Why I'm doing all this instead of just going into the design and showing you the actual widgets is because these informations are very much required when you will be designing or doing stuff. Okay, that's why these are very much important. Okay, so our over suppose our we have a main overlap group. Okay, so we have a main overlap group, and now inside that overlap group we can have a text inside. Okay, so we can have a text inside also. We can have another image inside this overlap group, right? Inside this overlap group we can have an image also. Inside this overlap group we can also have, suppose a what do you call it, a stack group. We can also have an overlap group itself. Okay, So inside an overlap group, we can have a text, image, anything. Inside any group, you can have any kinds of elements, to be honest. Okay. So we'll just start without doing all this. Okay. Let's go into this. Okay. So we'll just create a new widget. So last day I told you how you can create a widget. So you just tap on the home screen and your widgets menu will pop up. We'll just expand it and search for KWGT. You can start with one simple one by one and then click and hold and go into the resize menu to resize the widget according to your liking. Okay, you can also change the resizing later. Now it says click to set up or long press to resize. Okay, now I click to set up. Now we come into this KWGT section. Okay. Okay, so as I told you, if I have a stack group, so you will see all the elements in a linear fashion, either horizontally or vertically. Okay, but inside any stack group, all the elements cannot be in a overlapping fashion. To create an overlapping item or multiple overlapping items inside a stack group, you need to first make a stack group, then inside place an overlapping group and then place that. Okay. Okay, so and by default this root thing we already told you, wherever in the widget tree we are, uh, you will see this on this left panel. By default when we are at the main section, it's called as root, and as we will be adding multiple elements, you will see those elements inside these items, and as we will be going to edit the item properties, you will see at which layer we are. Okay, at which item or layer we are working on. Okay, so this root layer itself is an overlap group. So if we add two texts like the previous day, instead of adding, let's show this example. So let's take a look. We have two text elements inside an overlap group. If you tap on the overlap group, we can see two text elements. Okay, one is the December, another is the Thursday. But if I remove this overlap group, how we can remove this overlap group? We just simply need to cut these two texts and tab selected. We selected those two items. Now three dots, go to the three dots menu, cut, go back, then paste. Now click on this overlap group and just simply delete. You still see that both text elements are overlapping each other. Why? Because this root is itself a overlap group. It's not a, what do you call it, it's not a stack group. Now let's take these two elements and place it inside a stack group and let's see how they look like. Okay, so I'm creating a stack group. I'm selecting these two text elements and placing them, cut and paste inside a stack group. Now see, both items can now not be overlapped now. But inside this tag group, if I want to overlap these two items also, then what I can do is inside this tag group we need to create an overlap group and place these two tags inside this overlap group. Now see, we are still inside this tag group. Okay, but inside that tag group we also create an overlap group. So any two or three multiple items you want to stack on top of each other, you have to put inside a overlap group. Okay, but if we want to arrange multiple elements in a linear fashion or horizontal fashion, you have to put those inside a stack group. Okay, now to give a more a better idea about this, we add another text. Okay, we just add another text, simply the time, increase the size of it. Okay, from roboto regular to make it roboto something, a bold text. Okay, circular bold. Okay, so you see that inside this tag group, if you go to the root, I pressed on the root icon over here. If I press on this, I can simply go into that particular layer. Okay, inside this root we have a stack group. Understand this very carefully. Okay, so inside this tag group we have two items. One is an overlap group, one is a text. This is the 10.2, the time text is this text. Okay, And this overlap group has two items, which are these two texts which are overlapping each other, right? So you get the concept of it, right? I hope you have got the concept of it, because until you learn the concept of overlap group and stack group and how you can arrange elements inside an widget, you cannot make widgets efficiently. Okay, now let's talk about globals. I hope we cleared this stack group and overlap group part as of now, because when we'll be creating multiple widgets, we'll take a look at this in more depth. Okay, and how you can change the properties of each group, how you can arrange in a horizontal fashion or in a a vertical fashion. Currently by default, any stack group will have, if you now we are inside this stack group, if you can see. Now you, if you want to change the property of this layer, you need to go to layer. Okay, simply go to layer, and you see how is the stacking. The stacking is vertical left. So the two elements inside the stack group, that is this overlap group and that is this text, are arranged vertically, but arranged in the left, from the left. Now if I tap on this, I have multiple options. If I tap on vertical center, you will see that this is both the elements will be centered in the vertical axis, on the vertical axis, right? Now if I want to arrange these two elements inside this tag group in a horizontal fashion, we can say something like horizontal center. Now both the elements are horizontal center. Now since the overlap group is very large, you can not see those two items properly. We can just decrease the size of this overlap group. Either we can uh, scale the layer, overlap group layer itself, or we can decrease the size of the text. Okay, whatever you want to do. So for now I will just decrease the layer scale. Okay, now if you see this, now both are in a horizontal central. So what is the layer property of this tag group? Now horizontal center, right? Now there is, you see something called as margin. Okay, margin means the separation between the elements of that group. So we have two elements inside this tag group, once again this overlap group and this text. And base, now currently there is no margin, there is no separation. That's why you see those two elements one after another without any space. Now if I tap on this double for arrow forward button, you'll see 20 space has been given, 20 space. Now I tap once again, you see 40 space, the space is increasing. Similar in similar way, in similar fashion, if you tap on the double arrow back button, we can decrease the space, we can bring even closer. But you might confuse it with stack overlapping group now, because all three elements are now overlapping each other, right? But we have decreased the margin just. Okay, so in other words, you can create stacking items with help of stack group on top of each other, stacking items on top of each other with help of stack group, by decreasing the margin to a negative value. Okay, but the ideal scenario should be you create an overlap group and place all the elements you want to overlap on top of each other inside that overlap group. Okay, for now I'll just set the separation to something as 60. Okay, I'll save it. This is the save button. If it's before we go back, before we go to home screen, we just save it. Now you can exit and it will be saved, right? So we'll create a simple today widget. uh, if I go to fmes right now, my widget pack, sorry, where is kwgt, you will see this kind of this kind of widgets I have. So let's take an example of just one widget. Okay, this widget, what is this widget? Okay, I'll just import this widget first. I'm just deleting. Okay, no, not deleting, I'm just, okay, I'm just importing a widget. Now if you see on that, I clicked on this blank widget. When I went to this, I have the multiple options. I can either create a new widget from scratch or import any widget either from file location or from any widget pack. Now to import any widget from any widget pack, you need the KWGT Pro version. So be sure to remember that. Okay, now I'm importing this widget from FMEs, where it is. Let me check this. I think I missed it. This one, the FM is number 5. So you see the arrangement of this. Okay, first you understand this. Understand this widget, then it will be much better for you to understand the concept of overlap group. Now you see these two texts, the 23 and THU Thursday. These two are overlapping on top of each other, and there are also two texts at the bottom. Okay, this I don't know if you can see properly. Let me resize the size of it. Okay, now make this screen much bigger. I, I cannot extend this. Okay, I'm increasing the size of it. Okay, don't worry about it. Can you see? The first line is the current temperature is 20 degrees centigrade with overcast clouds, and the second line is now playing. If you have any music playing, it will show over here. Okay, so we have two text lines, and then we have this overlap group. Okay, so how we can arrange this? Sorry, I need to scale it down to 75%. Okay, so you see that I have taken an overlap group itself. Why? I already told you the root is itself an overlap group. Okay, but why did I take an overlap group again inside this root? Because if the root widget itself an overlap group, so why do we need an overlap group again? So the thing is that with the root itself, we cannot edit the layer properties like that. Okay, that also when you will be resizing multiple elements, it will be hard for you to resize them properly. That's why if you are the whole widget itself an overlap group, you just create an overlap group first, and then inside place all these elements. Now let's take a look at this overlap group. I just simply tap on the overlap group, and now see what we have over here. We have this 23. This is the morphing text. Why morphing text? I already told you what is morphing text. I told you in last class. It is a single line text with much more properties for you to change. You can increase the length of each character, each character, increase the spacing between each word, each character, like that, so on. Okay, and there is another text. This is the Thursday text. Okay, and then there is the stack group. Inside this stack group, what we have is these two elements, these two texts. Now this layout is actually wrong. I made this layout wrong. Instead, what we could have done is, instead taking overlap group over here, we could have taken a stack group. Okay, we could have taken a stack group. Oh, we could have taken a stack group, and then inside that stack group, we could have created an overlap group. Okay, right? Inside this stack group, we have an overlap group, right? And inside that overlap group, we should have placed these two overlapping texts inside this overlap group, right? Now I decrease the size of this overlap group a little bit, and then inside the stack group again, from this overlap previous group, I'm bringing these two stack. Since these two texts are arranged in a linear fashion in the vertical arrangement, that's why you could have just simply made them inside a stack group and cut and paste inside like this. Okay, I'll just simply delete this part. Give me a minute. Okay, Now let's just scale it down. You see the same thing, but I did some mistake with the layering in that widget. So it should be like this. So you see these two elements, these are one. These two elements can be grouped inside a overlap group, and these two texts can be grouped inside a stack group since they are arranged linearly vertically. Okay, and those two elements are also in a linear fashion arranged with some separation here. Okay, that's why I've taken a stack group inside, place this overlap group, and then these two texts, then these two texts are inside this stack group. Okay, why there are two stack groups here? Over here you can see two stack groups instead of one, because if you check on this now playing line, you will see that there is an icon to the left. So this is a row. Okay, this is a row. Inside that row we have this icon, and then there is this text, now playing text. Okay, that's why this should be in another stack group. Okay, you might not get the idea properly from this widget, so we'll create something from fresh. Okay, I'll just delete this widget, delete everything inside. So all these things, all globals. So we have an empty widget. I tap on it. Okay. So we'll be creating something similar to that. Okay. Okay. So something similar to that. So have that widget, in your mind, because we'll be trying to recreate that same thing. Okay. So we tap on the plus button, and before you add anything on the screen at this root layer, you just add any group. Either it may be a overlap group or stack group, in whatever orientation or configuration your widget is going to be. So my widget is going to be, you know, the widget elements will be in a stack. Okay, so I'm adding a stack group first. This is the first step. Then inside this stack group, we'll create an overlap group. I'm just recreating the same widget, same widget. Okay, so I'm creating an overlap group. Inside this overlap group, we will have two items. One will be the day number of this month. That was the 23. The day today is 23rd December. So I will have 23. Okay, so I'm adding another text inside this overlap group. And what will the text say? This is currently showing as, increase the size of it first. It's currently showing as the time. It's currently showing the time. So instead of showing time, I want to show the date. So I tap over here 1016 where it is written, and delete this formula first. Delete this formula. Now if I want a date formatting, that's why we go to date format, and wherever it's written the day of the month, yeah, it's written, you can see day of the month with padding 0. Okay, so I tap on this. So what is the code? The double dollar sign means it's a start point and end point of this formula. Okay, df means date format. This is the kind of formula we are using. It's a date format formula. And dd means day, day of that month. Why double d? If we deleted one d, it will still be the same. It will still be the same. Look at this, that there is no change. But suppose the date was something like 8 7 6 9, something like that. In that case, if we just keep one d, it will show just 8. But if you add double d, since the 8 has no double digits, it's only single digit, then in front of the 8 it will add a 0. So it will be 08. Okay, so what I was trying to say is that if I added simply, if there was only one d, it will be showing something like 8. Okay, but here is 2d, you can see double d. So what is the significance of this double d? If this text is only one digit, it will show a 0 in front of it. 0 in front of it, like this. It will be 08 then. Okay, you can manually edit the code to change this behavior. So I'm simply adding this text, the 23, the day, the date of this month. Now I can change the font. Now I have this option called as font. I tap on it, you'll see all the fonts available to me. I'll choose my most favorite font, Metropolis. I'll choose extra bold because I need it in extra bold. Okay, now I increase the size of it to something as 180 seems nice. Let me change the font to something else. Let me change the font to Oswald. Okay, Oswald seems nice. Save. Hit save once again. And now suppose I have another text. Okay, since this is inside a overlap group, I'll place the text a little below. I'm adding another text. Okay, I'm just changing the position right now. You don't need to know about this part as of now. Now see, you have two things. Okay, two texts. This 23 text, the time text, right? Now both the text have same color, that is white. Okay, but if you want to change the color of both the text simultaneously, we cannot do that until and unless we use global color, a global color, right? Now suppose if you want to change the color of both the texts to something yellow, how you can do this? The one way will be we go into this 23 text property, this 23, and go into paint, then change the color to something as something yellow like this. Okay, and apply. Now this is yellow. Now I want to change this 10 19, the time text color, to this yellow color, the same color. How I can do that? I can go into this time text property from paint, change the color to that same color, and if you want the same color, you can just copy paste the hex code from that color. Okay, so I'll just show you. So I'll just go into the 23 text, go into the paint, click on the click on this, this color rectangle, and from here you will see the hex code. You'll see this hex code. I'll just simply tap on it, tap and hold, then copy this hex code and go into this text, paint, then over here I'll just simply paste that hex code. Now we have this two texts have same color. But as you saw over here is that this was cumbersome. Now we have two texts, but if we have 10 text inside, we'll have to go inside in each text to change the color to the same, right? So this will be a very lengthy process, and that's when we use globals, right? Now globals has multiple other usages also, but we'll show them one by one. Now for now we'll see how a global color affects. So we go to the root layer. Now to create a global, you need to go to the root. How you can quickly go to the root? Just click on this button, this folder icon. This is the icon for the root. So we tap on it, we'll go to the root directly. Now from globals, we go to globals, right? We click on the plus button and we add a color. You see the type is color. Now the title. Now suppose the title, the length of this title should something like let me just see, it's probably like 8 or 10 characters, right? It's probably like 8 or 10 characters. So when you use this title, just make sure your character length is less than that. So I'm just using like this text. So this will be our text color for all the text we use. Okay. Now by default, you see this is the blank area, and this black square. So if you see any blank area on top of any color, you see why this is a global. Why this is a global color? This is a global item. What is the type of the item? This is a color property from this icon you see, and the name of the property is text. And what is the value of this property? This is blank. The value of the property is over here. This is blank. So by default we don't have any color for any global color, right? So we tap on the black square and suppose choose any color, this pink one. Okay, this pink seems nice. Apply. Now you see over here we have a hex code. So this is this left paint, sorry, what do you call it, where we put colors. This art thing is this icon is for your the type. So this is a color property, and what is the name of that property? Text. What is the value of that property? This is the value. and if you have a preview of that value, this is our value. So what can be the preview of a hex code? Obviously a color, what the hex code represents, which color. Okay, now we added this color as a global. Now we simply need to add this global color to this text. Okay, simply need to attach this global color to this text, right? So we go to the items. Now we go to each item. Now we go to the first 23, then go to paint. Now click on this color. You have a selection section. Tap on it, and we have on top, you see on top there are two things. One is an internet sign and one is a calculator sign. This internet sign is for globals. This calculator sign is for, what do you call it, formula. If you want to add manually a formula, you can use this. Okay, now I want a global, that's why I will be selecting this internet icon. I select this internet item. Now you see it has changed to globals. I'll change back to default. Okay, by default you will see this hex code and this color. Now if we select this and change to globals, you will see this global icon. That means it will now ready, it is now ready to accept a global color, or it is already accepting a global color. Okay, now I tap this icon, this global icon. I will see all the global colors available, right? So we have this text color, global text color. I simply tap on it. You will see now this that global color is attached to this text. Simply I need to change this text color to that global color also. Similarly, go tap this internet icon, then again, then again. Okay, now both the colors have been changed. So you might ask, so you had to do the same thing over here also. You have to change the color of each element separately and attach them to global colors. But I had to do that once, right? Throughout the widget creation process, after you have created the whole widget and you have take 10 text inside, then all of a sudden you need to change the color of each text, and all the colors of each text are same. Then you will need to go do that again and again, right? But in the beginning itself, you if you attach the global color to that text, that at later point, if I simply need to change this color of these two text simultaneously, what I can do is go to these globals, then tap on this color and simply change the color to anything, suppose this orange, and the color will change for both the text. I don't need to go each text and then change its color. Did you understand this part? If not, I'll go through this once again. Got it? Abhi says got it. If anyone didn't get this part, please tell me now. I'll go through this once again. Okay, got it. So I'm continuing. So as I said earlier, we will be recreating that previous widget that we saw. So I'm simply removing this text now as of now. I'm changing the text color, global text color, to white as of now. Okay? Okay. Now inside this overlap group, we add another text that will be our name of the day. That is, what is the day today? Today is Thursday. So we want to show Thursday, but in a short format. Okay. So we go to text, since it's a text element. We add a text. By default, the text will show the current time. You see over here very faintly because the size is small. I'm increasing the size once again. Now change the paint to something different by as of now. Okay, now I want to change this text to you know the date, the day of this week. I go to the date format, then from over here I add this Thursday. Okay, now as I told you, I want this Thursday to be small, not the full day. So you see inside this code has four E. Now if I delete one E, it will be THU. So if you use 3E, it will be only three text. but it doesn't mean that if you delete another e, it will be, you know, two texts. So the formula is, you know, constant for this. There are two options: either use 3e or use 4e. Okay, if you use 3e, it will show short, in a short fashion, and it will have only three strings, three, you know, three text, three characters. But if you use 4e, it will have all the characters available for that text. For this text, e will not be used anywhere else. For this formula, if you want to show the day of the week, you will use e. But if I replace the e with something as m, you will see the month name is showing, right? If I use 3m, it will show the in a short fashion, right? So little by little, you will understand more about these formulas as you will be experimenting with these formulas. Um, After all these years and all these experiments, I know these formulas, uh, you know, now. But you won't know this initially. You have to experiment. So I'm changing this to triple E now, as I want three texts only. I want the short text, right? Now I need a different color for this text to be visible, right? So I make the global color a very, you know, transparent color. So I'm changing the opacity to something as something 20%, right? 20%. You see my the text color is 20%. Now changing the I want this color to be different. So I'm creating another global. I will name this global as accent. So this will be our accent color. So whatever accent we have, so suppose we have um, four texts, three of the text have same color, and one text will have a different color. For that different color text, we'll this use this accent color, right? So it all depends upon what kind of naming you do. I'm selecting this color for the accent color, and I assign this accent color to this Thursday text. Same way. I click on the browser icon from over here. Now you see, earlier you saw only one option, text. Now you see the accent option also. Okay. Okay. So it's kind of like it is almost coming together like the earlier widget, right? Okay. These are two elements overlapping each other. Now I want another text at the bottom, right? So I'm going out of this overlap group, and inside this tag group, since I still have still inside this tag group, I'm adding another text, right? So you'll see this text over here, increasing the size again, increasing the size. This is in a stack fashion, right? But by default, the stack is, how is the stack like? The stack is like vertically left. It is vertical, but all the elements are arranged to the left. I want this arrangement to in the center, but in a vertical fashion. So I simply change the stacking property to vertical center, right? Now I simply need to change the text. Now I change this text to show, you know, let's go date formatting again. Now what you can see over here is that we month name. We want to show the month name. So we have the month name over here. Now I want to change this text color to also the same text, first text color, the white text, the opacified text. I'm changing this to text, right? So this is an ideal scenario to experiment with the globals. We have three text. Two of these text has same color, and one of the text has a different color. That's why we created two colors. If you needed this kind of variation for multiple other colors, you could have created multiple other global colors also. Now if I want to change the appearance of these two texts, the 23 and December, I can simply go to this text color global field, tap on this color, and change the color to something like red. And since I have the opacity lowered, change the opacity to 100%, and you see that by one click, and you just change the color of both the texts, right? So this was our first widget, right? Now let's do some styling. Now comes the styling part. Okay, now comes the formula part. Our formula will be a bit tricky for you now. Okay, we'll go into the formula later classes. As of now, I'm changing the opacity to 23. It's looking good. Now I have some fonts, some very good fonts that you might not have initially. Okay, I'm using this font, Grind and Death Demo. Now you see that in this overlapping group, all the items are arranged centrally, but I don't want to arrange these items centrally. So inside this overlap group, I can go to this layer property and the position. You see, you have two options. You can change the position of this whole layer group from this over here. But I want to change the position of this Thursday text. I want to bring this Thursday text a little below. So I want to add a padding on the top. I want to add some space. What does padding mean? Padding means space. Now if I go into this the property of this Thursday text, and if I go to the position tab, you will see this kind of thing, anchor. So what is the anchoring? This is anchoring is currently set as center. Now if I change the anchoring to bottom, it will come to the bottom, but it is still inside that stack group, right? I'll keep the anchoring to center as of now. I'll just add some space on top of it. You see, T padding means top padding, R padding means right padding, L padding means left padding, and if you scroll down, you see that B padding means bottom padding. I want to add some space on top, so I will increase this top padding. Okay, you will see that padding is increasing, the spacing is increasing, right? The Thursday text is coming down. Similarly, if I want to add some space from the left, I will add some left padding, right? I will add some top padding also right now, and it's looking nice right now. I increase the text size a little bit. So both these texts are overlapping each other, right? But this is a positioned a little bit to the right on top of this 23 text. Got it? Got my point? Okay. Now instead of showing this December text, what I want to show over here is a, a horizontal line. A horizontal line. I want to show a horizontal line instead of December's text. Okay, let's not remove the December text as of now. I just simply add a horizontal line in between these two elements, this first overlap group and this second text. I'm adding a horizontal line to add a line. So what is a line? A line is basically a rectangle, right? With the width or the height, value should be less. What I mean by that is I simply add a shape, and by default, this is the shape we added, and by default the shape we will add by default is a square with and width and height of 20. Since it's a square, you don't have those two properties, you only have one property, width, because both the sides will be same. Now I want a line, horizontal line. For that horizontal line, I will change the shape to rectangle, right? Now still both the shapes, both the width and height are equal right now, so it will still be a square. Now for a horizontal line, so horizontal line means the width will be larger than the height, right? So I'm increasing the width like this, right? I'm decreasing the height. The current height is 1 pixels. You see this blue thing, that is the bounding box encircling around the or encircling around that white line. But if I go to back screen, you will see this, right? So this is our horizontal line. Now I can increase the thickness of this horizontal line, something, change it to something like 3. Okay, so it's much more visible now, right? So I'll change the thickness to something as 10. Also I'm changing the you know changing this stack group alignment to left right now, vertical left. Okay, vertical left, this stack group alignment. Let's see why this. Okay, this is why it's not coming to that, because you see, okay, right, this Thursday text, as it says left padding, this padding is used. That's why even though I said the arrangement of that stack group to vertical left, it's still towards this side, because this text, this Thursday text is inside that overlap group, but it is taking the padding from left so much, right? So what I can do over here is, instead of anchoring the text to center, I can change that anchoring to bottom, right? I'm changing the anchoring to bottom. Simply remove the top padding. Since I anchored the text to bottom, I will need to add a bottom padding now to move this text a bit upwards. I'm adding a bottom padding of 25, then add some left padding. Okay, or I could have just simply anchored the thing to bottom right, right? So I don't need to add this thing. Okay, I'm adding this bottom padding of 25, adding a little bit of left padding. Oh, left padding will not work as of now, right now, because we have set this to bottom right, right? So even if we add some left padding, it will not go any beyond this. If we had set this to bottom and then we added some left padding, then it will go. But we have set this at the maximum right bottom space. It is possible. Okay. So it's looking good. Now you see that all those elements are arranged vertically left, right? Now I want to place this shape in the middle of these two, right? This shape should be here, not below this December. Okay, so I'm changing the arrangement. Simply look over here, this part. I'm clicking, holding, and dragging this shape, right? Similarly, you arrange any music in a playlist, or in a YouTube playlist, you arrange the videos inside your playlist like this. Okay, and now I'm putting this shape after the overlap group. So you see, we have that. Now you see that after this overlap group, we have some space, but this space is not defined by this margin property. The spacing in the margin property is still 0. But why still this space? Because after this rectangle you don't see any space. You see the December without any space. But after the 23 text or this overlap group, why you see some space? Because the font we use has some inbuilt spacing of its own. If I tap on this text, I'm tapping on this text. You see that it has some top padding, it has some bottom padding by default. And even if you do anything, you will not be able to remove that. Suppose if I change the font to something different, something this one. Okay, maybe not that one because it doesn't show properly. Okay, this one. You will see it has very little top and bottom padding. But if we use uh, this particular text Oswald, it has some very high padding on both up and below. Okay, that's why if we add some margin now, you'll see this kind of separation. You see 20 separation, we have added 20 margin, so you will see 20 separation between each elements. Here also there is 20 separation, but you already have the padding of this text in the top and bottom. That is why this spacing is larger. So another way you can do is to keep the spacing persistent in this kind of scenario, is that just set the margin to 0, then add some top padding to this December text, right? Go to the December text, go to position, and from here add some top padding, like 50. Okay, this spacing is not currently same. The spacing is as of now 50. I'll change this to 30. Let's see if it's if it's matching somehow. Save, it's save, go. Yeah, it's kind of matching now. So you see, all of these elements have same spacing inside them. Now if I want some I want this shape to start a little to the right, so I'll add some spacing, left padding to this line, right? I'll add something as 10 pixels padding. Now if I go back, you see it is not directly to the left. It has some spacing here. I don't know if you can notice, but it has some 10 spacing. I'll increase the spacing to something 35. Okay, now it's much more prominent. Okay, now if you want something like this, okay, let's remove this spacing and set these two elements a bit to the right. Now you can see that it's already inside a stack group, but instead of changing the padding for both these items, as paddings for these both these items I want to be same. So instead of doing this, I could have just simply done like this. I just simply cut these two and placed it inside a stack group, right? I place this inside a stack group. I just simply go to position and add a left padding of 50. Now see, I didn't need to add manually the padding for each element, as both the elements will be having same padding from the left. I just simply added them in a group and added the spacing. Now since these two elements are arranged in a linear fashion in vertically, that's why I place them inside a stack group, not a overlapping group, right? You get the idea, right? So we are already around 1 hour mark. So I think I have discussed a lot of things today. Let's see if you what we over went over. We went over globals, not takes so much in depth, but yeah, did something. Overlap and stack groups, we did a lot. Talk about it a lot. We made a today widget today, not a music widget today, right? So we have covered these kind of parts, right? Okay, so I guess that should be it for today's video, and uh, if anyone has any issues, I've already wrapped up what we talked about and how you can create. So main thing is if you have multiple elements which have same color, multiple texts to be precise that has same color, use a global color and assign that global color to those texts when you first creating them. So at a later point, if you want to change the color of all those texts at say once, you can simply change the global color. You don't need to go inside each text then change the color, right? Okay. You can create a line, something like line like this. So this is a horizontal line. That's why it has a width of very high and the height is very low. Okay. If you want a vertical line, how you can create that? The height will be high. The height will be high and the width will be low, right? That's how you get a vertical line. And you have all these text elements, that the text codes available in the formula editor. You go to the formula editor and you experiment with each text, what each does, what this formula does, and then you will see new things, right? So your assignment for next class will be to replicate this widget. I'm taking a screenshot, I'll be sending this to the group. You don't need to change have the same font. You may have different font, different appearances, different text colors, okay, even different texts also, but try to keep something like this kind of layout, right? So you will have a stack group. Inside that you will have a two or multiple elements will be over that will be overlapping each other. Then uh, then two elements inside that main stack group, which will be again stacking, uh, you know, or will be in a linear fashion or in a stack fashion, not stacking fashion. Stacking and stack, you may be confused with these two terms. Both are same basically, but we are using this for one is I'm using for in a overlapping fashion and one is this linear arrangement fashion, right? So I hope whatever we talked about today, yeah. What is name of your YouTube channel? Okay, I don't have a proper YouTube channel. I'm just making these videos for you guys to learn. That's all. I'm not doing it for anything else. I'm not trying to earn anything or anything like that. So I haven't set up any proper YouTube channel yet. Okay. So that's all about my YouTube channel as of now. In future, I might do. Okay. Next question is, can colors be automatically set to adapt light, dark themes, and maybe monet means? What is monet means? And maybe monet means? What does monet mean? Can you clear that? Custom guru? Customs guru? Yeah, you can change the colors to automatically adapt to light and dark theme. For that, you will need to. Where can I? You can watch my YouTube recorded videos from the link, YouTube link I will give. Go to simply click on that video, go to that YouTube account, and from my video section, you will see all the videos. Colors adapting to according to material you. Okay, uh, these kind of things. Text color changing based on light and dark theme, changing based according to wallpaper. It all depends upon formula, and I will be going on all of this, because if you go to PixCards, just let's add an PixCards widget over here. Okay, you have this widget, right? Sorry, your screen not visible. This widget, right, or this yellow widget, which is much more better. So I have given such formula is that when the color is yellow on this square, this rectangle, the text color will be black. And if this color is something different, something called as purple like this, the text color will be white. Similar fashion you can do with the themes also. If I go to this over here, and from the global section, you'll see there are lots of things. One is a theme. Okay, I have, if you tap on this yellow, if I tap on this yellow, you see I have three themes: purple, yellow, blue, right? If I tap on purple, simply the theme of the whole widget will change. Similarly, you can add light and dark theme. But the problem is that this theme will not automatically change based on the theme of your device. You need to manually change it. But if you want to change it automatically, there might be some code formula for that, and as of now I don't know the formula, right? As of now I don't know to automatically change the theme. You can manually change the theme to create two different themes: light theme, dark theme, and then go to these globals, and from these globals you can manually change the theme to you can make different themes and change it like this. Okay, and I will talk about these themes and all these in later videos, because these are much more complex. Because you see over there, there mm, s- uh, there are lots of elements to this, lots of globals. Why? Because you see that suppose BG1 and BG2, this is, since this background, this blue background is a gradient, this is a dark blue, and then there is a light blue. So we have to change this also, and we have to change this according to the theme also. If I go to the BG1, let's see the let's see the formula. It says, if GV means global variable, theme equals to purple. That means if the theme is equals to purple, then GV V1 means global variable V1. So what is global variable V1? If I go to the bottom, if we go to bottom, the global variable V1 is purple, but this light shade of purple. Okay, so if the according to this formula, what it says, that if the theme is purple, then set this BG1 color to this V1 color. Okay, and if the theme is yellow, set this BG1 color to this Y1 or yellow 1 color. If the theme is blue, set that BG1 color to this blue 1 color, B1 color, right? In this way, these formulas have to be made, and these are very tough to understand as of now. Until and unless you clear these kind of things, the basic things, this will be hard for you to understand, and don't worry, I'm here to teach everything to you guys, what I have done with these widgets, and I will teach this to all of you. Okay, so no need to worry, I will go this one by one. Okay, so one question is done, that is theming. And uh, theming, and then according to material you changing the colors of the widget. Same thing, it goes with the formulas. Formula, you have to make custom formula which will listen to the change of that wallpaper, and you will take the wallpaper and generate a color palette from that, and then from that color palette it will auto apply the colors. And you have to also set which element to take what colors. So this can be done. I will show those in later videos. Those will be coming very later, because you have to clear a lots of stuff first. After making my present or preset, how to export it as an APK. Okay, so let's take a look at my screen. So what earlier we used to do was that we made widgets. Okay, we made widgets like this. Similarly, what I have over here, and then we export this widget to a KWGT widget. The extension will be .kwgt. Okay, if I go to my files, and from here if I go to custom, and then if I go over here something called as widgets folder. Inside this widget folder you have all these widgets, and if I check the extension of either each of them, go to properties, and the extension is .kwgt. So you have just made this widget, but you have not saved this widget or exported this widget. First, you need to export this widget. So to export this widget, what you can do is that tap on this widget, go click on this hamburger icon or the three line icon, and export preset. We go to export, and we have to fill in some details, your name, your email address. Then if you want to add some description about the widget, you can add. If you want to add a title, add, then export, and it will be saved inside that widget folder. Okay, and you can find it from that folder. Now making an app is a different thing. So making, after you have made all these widget and exported them, then comes making the app part. So earlier what we used to do was that there was an app called KAPK. Inside you create projects like this. I have two projects, since I have two KWGT app, FMS and Pixcards. And you create a project, and inside that project you add widgets. You go to the manage, and then from over here this K icon, you tap on that, and it will simply take you to that custom widgets folder, and you add widgets from here. Okay, and then you click on this build button, and it will simply build you an APK which you can upload to Play Store and release your app. But here is the problem right now. This KAPK app has not been updated in a while. So the target platform it uses is currently 29, and Android Play Store requires the target platform to be set as 30. API level should be as 30, which this doesn't have as of now. So what are target platform numbers 29, 30, etc. I will talk about this in next class. So since it's using a lower target version, this KAPK app is using a lower target version to build the APK. This APK that you get is not supported by Play Store as of now currently. So for that you need to use a dashboard. As we use frame something called as frames dashboard for our wallpaper app. For this Pixar wallpaper app, we use frames dashboard by Jahir Fikwitiva. Okay. Similarly, there is another dashboard called as Cooper dashboard, KUPER. Okay, KUPER or KUPFER, something like that. Cooper dashboard for your KWGT widgets. You need to place them inside that dashboard, and that dashboard can be edited with Android Studio. You need to know a little bit about coding, but everything will be explained in that wiki page of that uh, dashboard. Okay, let me show you.
What's the name of the dashboard?
The name of the dashboard is Cooper. Kuper. Cooper dashboard
You wrote it
by.
in GitHub.
Yeah, I'll send it to the group. Jahir Fikwitiva. I don't know how to pronounce the name properly. So Jahir Fikwitiva Cooper. You go to Cooper. This is the code. This is the all the code inside this all the folders and codes. You need to change those, and this is how the dashboard looks like. So this is how the dashboard looks like. So you have three tabs: setup, widgets, wallpapers. You can add wallpapers inside that KWGT app itself. You have seen this already that some KWGT apps have wallpapers. So this is where the wallpapers is put. Uh, then inside this widget tab, you have all your widgets. Okay, and from here you can add, set your widgets. Okay, so this is how the wallpapers tab look like, similar to frame setup or any other wall. This is the settings page and abouts page, credits page. So this is this if you go to this wiki page, there's wiki page. It will tell you how you can, you know add add your widgets to this dashboard. But before you do any of this, you need Android Studio. This is the Android Studio which we require for coding your apps. And I will be talking everything how we can make widgets. I will be exporting them. This is coding for one of my apps. I can't show you that right now. So I will so how you will need to make those widgets, export them, then set up inside an app and release that app into the Play Store. I will talk about everything. No need to worry about that. Okay, this will take long. I must tell you beforehand, this will take a lot of time. 1 month, 2 month, the whole process of teaching thing, because I cannot take classes every day. I will take classes once in 2 3 days. Okay, and each class will be of 1 or 1.5 an hours, right? So it will take some time, but eventually you will get there. Okay, so I think we're done for today. Any more questions?
Send few fonts, bro.
Hello, I didn't get you.
Fonts.
Fonts I'll talk about in next video. I'll definitely talk about it in next video. Okay, anything else? I will talk about how you can add custom fonts and so on in next video. Okay, so I guess that should be it for this class, as no one here has anything else to ask. So thank you everyone for joining in today again, and good night. I hope everyone enjoyed the class, right? So thank you guys. I'll end the recording now. It's been 1 hour 13 minutes.